Hello, my name is Matlati Jujuju and I teach life sciences. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for viewing this video. So all of this information will be taken from Life Sciences Grade 12 Solutions for All. So today's topic is going to be about human evolution, okay? And then content area today we'll be talking about is going to be the introduction, the kinds of evidence out of Africa hypothesis, whereby we say that humans, Homo sapiens, evolved in Africa, and we're going to be talking about the phases of human evolution. That will be our last chapter. So scientists believe that humans share a common ancestor with chimpanzees and the bonobos, okay? So in other words, if you just want to understand it, okay, in simpler terms, we are saying that humans, chimpanzees, and the bonobos, they share a mother. Okay? It's the same way as you and your siblings and your sisters and your brothers, and you share a mother. So it's kind of obvious that your blood is going to be the same. Facially, you're going to be the same. Somehow you're going to behave like your mom, or you're going to behave like your dad, right? That's how you're going to be behaving, right? And you're going to be looking like your mom, or you're going to be looking like your dad, or a combination of both, right? Yes, so in other words, we're saying that humans share a common ancestor with chimpanzees and bonobos, okay? We're saying that because we're looking at the anatomy of it, evidence, okay? We're looking at the similarities and the differences. So structurally, they do have an opposable thumb just like us. They do have a binocular vision just like us. They produce fear of spring. Their fingers are flat and they have toenails, okay? And they also have flat toenails, okay? And we're also looking at the fact that other apes such as gorilla, orang-utans, and gibbons, they're also the same as us. They lack a tail, they have appendix, they have a large brain, and they're active during the day. So in other terms, you can just say, okay, these people, they might come from the same mom, okay? But then at some point, the other one, I get what you know, Luena, or you and your sister, probably the other one is lighter than you, and then the other one is darker than you. Yes, the same way it happens here. So we also have our differences, okay? So we work upright and always, and there's no way we can be able to walk with 4 legs or 4 hands, okay? So obviously when we walk upright, we have a fair advantage in terms of we can able to see predators, we can able to intimidate predators, and we can able to work, right? Yes, so since we just said humans and chimpanzees and the bonobos, they share a common ancestor, we do have 3 types of evidence to support that statement. We're talking about the fossil evidence, genetic evidence, and cultural evidence, okay? So in terms of fossil evidence, that's whereby the skeletons that have been found of bodies, of hard tissue bodies that have been covered and found in sedimentary rocks. They show some sort of similarities and differences, such as adaptations to the jaws and the teeth. So obviously when they do compare the fossils, they compare the past and the new fossil, and they realize that, oh, this one has probably the incisors are large, and then the other one, the incisors are small, and they looked at the jaws and the teeth are arranged in this way and shaped in this kind of way. It's just proof that over time the teeth and the jaws, they have just adapted according to the food they eat, according to how they prepare their food. So obviously, since we are no longer cracking the nuts using our jaws, obviously our teeth are not going to be large, are not going to be thick. Obviously, now that we cook our food, obviously we're not going to have a sharp incisors and sharp teeth, right? Yes, and then with the skeletons, also looked at their head, and they realized that now our brains, our skeletons, they're now bigger than before. Before, their brains, they used to be this small, and now we have, obviously I've seen kids with the big heads. So obviously we do have our big heads to accommodate our larger brains, but in the past one, with the fossils, they realized that the heads have been small, right? So it just shows that over time it adapted, okay? And also we have the adaptations for walking upright on our 2 legs, and for climbing trees. And then we realize that now it's no longer our arms are no longer larger than our feet, right? Now we have our tall legs, and then we have short arms. Okay, just shows that we have been adapted to walk upright over time. Okay. So with the genetic evidence, they just found out with the use of DNA base pairs. Okay, the base pair sequence show that the one of the human beings is almost the same as the chimpanzees. Okay, for example, when we're talking about the base pairs, we'll be talking about the adenine pairing with the thymine and the cytosine pairing with the guanine. Okay, and just shows that somehow the chimpanzees, they do pair like us. Then it just shows that and then another thing, so now that we know the DNA base pairs, we can able to tell when mutation happened. Okay, so with that we can able to tell. It's very useful, the DNA base pairs, because okay, since while mutation occurs within the DNA pairs, within the DNA sequence, the change of the DNA sequence, we can usually just tell, oh, this is when change actually occurs, and then that's when we will know, okay, so they were fine, they were siblings, they were okay. One, and then the DNA happened here on this base pair, and then that's when human beings started developing. Okay. And then we looked at the cultural evidence, and then we realized, oh, hi man, the apes, they be using leaves as toilet paper, and we are using toilet paper as toilet paper. And then they be showing expressions, they be showing love, they be kissing the offspring. And then you realize, oh, when you do kiss your offspring. And then they do have a social behavior, they mourn, they are also intelligent, they be using sticks just in case there are some ants and they want to pull out the ants. They just use a stick, and then they get into that ant hole and they pull out that stick with a lot of ants, and then it shows what haibo. And they're good with technology. There are some social researches that are being undertaken by scientists with chimpanzees and all that. You can see, they can able to count, they can able to understand some of the languages, they can able to communicate, and they're not violent unless they're threatened. This and this and this and this, and they just show right. And then there's also another statement that says that the Homo sapiens, they evolved in Africa. Okay, why are we saying that? We're saying that because we found genetic evidence. We also found fossil evidence. Bolusi, I think they were found in Africa. The Daung child found in Africa. Okay. So let's look at the genetic evidence that supports that the whole Homo sapiens, they evolved here in Africa. Also, I think the first fossil fuel was found in Ethiopia. So we looked with genetic evidence, we looked at the mitochondrial DNA of humans can be traced to the first mitochondrial Eve, which was the first fossil found in Africa. And it was named mitochondrial Eve being the first woman in the Bible. Okay, and then they also realized that human beings, Africans, by the way, not human beings, they found that Africans, they do have a DNA diversity more than other people in other countries. So it just shows what this is where is where we find everything. If we're going to be compare your home and your room, you can see, right, that's where they have a lot of food, a lot of rice. And then when at your school, you'll be buying 8 kg or 2 kg of rice, right? And then at home, they buy 80 kg of maize meal. So you can just tell, right, man. So the same thing happened with the genetic evidence. Okay, so they realized, human beings in Africa, they do have a DNA diversity that is more than other people in other countries. It just shows. And then they showed that the mitochondrial DNA, because mitochondrial DNA, that is where a lot of change, there's no crossing over, so it just stays the same. So unless mutation occurs, so no change happened, nothing happened, and then they were able to trace it back to the first fossil mitochondrial Eve, and they found out, oh, okay, Eve was Ashu and she's from Africa. And Eve was not the only one, it's just that the rest, obviously, their bones couldn't survive. They had probably soft tissues and their bodies were being obviously underground. You know the process that happens underground. So decomposed. And also looked at the fossil evidence that tells us how happy human beings they come from Africa. So the fossil, so we found that the oldest fossil of our species were found in Ethiopia, okay? And then that's when it was like, okay, this is it. Humans come from, they come from Africa. They evolved from Africa, okay? And then we have different phases of fossils, different phases of human evolution, okay? So now that we have all these types of fossils, now we need to somehow face them, or okay, now that this fossil has this and it has long arms and it has shorter hands, and shorter legs, maybe let's categorize it as an Australopithecus face, okay? Now that this face has a bigger head, okay, and it has opposable thumb, and the spine is like an S shape, probably this fossil is from the Homo face, okay? So now that we have this fossil and it has bigger teeth and the eyebrows are thick, let's categorize it as the Australopithecus face. All right, so that is when the faces occurred, okay? So the first phase of the human evolution is the Australopithecus phase, the Australopithecus phase, whereby we found the Sedibum, the Africanus, and the little foot. Those are the fossils, and they were named according to the places where they were found, okay? And according to the characteristics, obviously, little foot, we know what that boy or girl, I didn't read the gender. They had the little foot, okay? You do find the gender and tell me in the comment section, because I didn't find out the little foot's gender. And then we have the Homo phase, whereby we had the Homo erectus, the Homo sapiens, which is us, and an example of a fossil that has been found is Tukana boy, okay? I think this is our last. Oh my god, so early. I thought we were still continuing. But anyways, I enjoyed doing this video for you. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for viewing. And I end by saying my name is Mahlatsi Jujuju and I teach life sciences. Bye bye.